Good morning, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to AABN's 133rd weekly webinar this morning. Well, as we gradually adapt to the new normal, AABN continues its engaging webinar series to keep you connected with eminent minds and emerging trends at the comfort of your homes. Today, we have one such personality, Mr. Mahendra Rajawat, a respected entrepreneur, educationist, and a visionary. What makes him an apt choice for this audience is that he too is an alumnus of Annamalai University and he belongs to the 1996 batch of Mechanical and Production Engineering. When he entered the portals of Annamalai University in 1992 to study Mechanical and Production Engineering, little did our own Mr. Incredible realize that it was his stepping stone to the big, bold, and beautiful world of innovation. Like a few of our predecessors, Mahendra's life too has been quite an adventurous ride. His journey might have thrown up many surprises, but the destination has been something that's close to his heart. Unmanned aerial vehicle, popularly known as drone, have been identified as a viable substitute and or to complement remote sensing platforms. Mahendra will share his perspectives and recent developments, improvements in technology and regulatory environment are simulating the expanded use of unmanned aerial vehicles in a widening range of application. Now, the capability of airborne platforms to deliver higher accuracy performance can meet even more demanding requirements of users. He will discuss the different requirements and challenges for positioning technology in critical and commercial applications in urban and remote areas. A very warm welcome to you, Mahendra, and we feel profoundly honored that you have taken time off on a Sunday morning to address this. I have the pleasant duty of welcoming and introducing Mahendra Rajawat to our audience. Dear friends, put your hands together for this alumnus from our campus who has made an impact in his own way. For the boys of the 96 batch, Mahendra is an old pal. Mahendra was heading safety restraint systems, global leader, Joyson Safety Systems as president and MD, leading business for Indian and joint venture until March 2023 for more than 11 years. Previously, he has been associated with Sandvik Asia, Sandhar Technologies, and other organizations serving automotive and engineering industry for more than 25 plus years. He is a graduate in Mechanical and Production Engineering from the Faculty of Engineering Technology, Annamalai University, along with postgraduate diploma in computer applications. As thought leader and operational champion, successfully merged key safety systems and Takata in India with the significant business growth shaped by JV by redesigning the financial organization structure, operations and compliances. As an architect of Joyson, world-class in-house R&D center approved by Government of India, demonstrated his commitment on Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat. He has been actively involved in promotion, growth and development of the auto component industry and safety systems in India as member of ACMA and CIA in different roles. He was awarded the Brahma Shah Award by Maharana Mewar Foundation, Rajasthan. As founder member of Sky Gear, he drives the techno-commercial vision for the company. He focuses on UAV and US technology development, strategic planning, and global connect to the company along with financial planning and control. Before I wind up, let me once again extend a very warm welcome to you all and reiterate that our AABN's doors are always open to those who might want to strengthen our work with their suggestions. I also wish to place on record our deep commitment to work tirelessly as a team to carry forward our goals in constructive, gratifying way. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Mahendra.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gopi-san. First of all, namaskar, vanakkam, and good morning to all dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be part of such a distinguished gathering and share my vision on the unmanned aerial system. In my view, your participation shows a great commitment towards the networking via AABN to ensure that we support each other and we build an ecosystem which can help to grow the vision of individuals groups, and our network. So first of all, thank you very much for taking time out on a Sunday morning and joining me for this webinar. I also want to extend a special thank to Gopi-san, Haripriya, and everybody who belongs to AABN for giving me an opportunity to share my vision on the drone technologies and what we can do in this emerging technology area, which gives us a huge opportunity to expand our vision in different perspective. I'll start with a quick introduction about myself, which is not as elaborate as what Gopi-san has done it. I'm born and brought up in a city called Jaipur, which is primarily known as a pink city. Got a great opportunity to be part of Annamalai, and Tamil Nadu I consider as my second home. During 26 years, got an opportunity to work with different kind of organizations, including the family-owned business groups, multinationals, having collaborations with different nationalities and different demographies. With these 26 years of a professional journey, primarily in auto and engineering side, last couple of years was very, very challenging for all of us. We were going through VUCA world. As you all have seen, unprecedented challenges in last 4 years, whether they are related to COVID, the revolutions in new technologies, lot of disturbances coming into the business side, whether it's due to geopolitical thing, coming due to the supply chain issues, having economical crisis in different markets. But this all has given us a new opportunities to look the world in different way. Currently, the lot of discussions are going on that which 40 or which top 10 technologies would be determining the new era of economy. And in that particular segment, the aviation sector comes as a big opportunity and an area where a lot of work will be done. Considering the same, I would like to emphasize today my presentation on one specific technology called UAV and UAS. And the title itself says, "Sky is not the limit, the future of drone." Give me a second. Here we go. What you saw was not an helicopter. It was an unmanned helicopter, which has a similar capability like any of the helicopter performing in different geography. When we talk about drones, different shapes comes into our mind, and some of the skeletons of those shapes I've added into my slide. When it comes to what we are seeing around us, definitely the most recent thing we are seeing on everyday basis is coming the news from Ukraine-Russia war, where the drone is rapidly used for different kind of war tactics. Not only that, when we look back in our India, newspapers and media, On a regular basis, we are seeing the pictures and news coming from users of drone, whether they are for agri applications, whether they are for delivering of medicines, rapid support during the crisis, or maybe the some of the special work which is done into area of surveillance and mapping. These all pictures reflects the bandwidth and the spectrum of the drones. And to capture the entire spectrum, I have divided my presentation into 4 parts. I'm going to touch upon very, very briefly about what is the UAVs in UASR, the booming global market. And I will be more than happy if in the audience somebody can really confirm what would be the growth rate of this industry. That's a quite amazing growth rate we are seeing, and every day, every moment, the numbers are going on a higher side. And that's where we see a lot of opportunity for us. First time I see the India story coming exactly at the point of time where we can encash the opportunity for our nation. This opportunity has a big game and lot for us. We will be talking more about that, what kind of a role, what kind of an opportunity, what kind of the sectors which are coming up because of this new domain of technology, and how we can encash our visions along with this opportunity. At the end, I will like to touch upon the company Skygear, which has been formed by the team of mine, how this dronocopter technology is giving added advantage and a leap over the current ongoing development. At the end, we'll be very happy to have questions from you and add my answers, which probably will give you specific information related to your questions. UAVs in US are flying birds. We call them drones. A lot of common names we use like Heron, Predators. We talk about company names very quickly like IdeaForge, XYZ. And that's the way we relate ourselves with the drone. In a very simple way, if you ask me, how the industry has been divided as an unmanned aerial vehicle and unmanned aerial system. Any flying machine without a pilot, which has a capability of control and autonomous flying, are known as a drones or a UAVs. Just to give you a perspective that how the future will shape up when we fly in the aeroplanes, sometimes the pilot gives an announcement, we are flying in autopilot mode. And that means you are sitting in an aeroplane, which is a drone. And that will be the scale of this industry in coming years. As in a platform, drone is an equipment, cannot be crystallized unless it is put with any system. So unmanned aerial system is a flying machine without a pilot built to perform one or multiple operations. Today, the way we are being exposed, the users are seeing exclusively one kind of application. But today, if we compare the global developments and the way that the industry is emerging, we would be able to see that drones will be able to perform as a system for multiple applications also. And these applications at the end gives us a solution to solve our problems or to give us an advantage in terms of meeting the requirement of end customer. Autonomous aviation sector will be the backbone in coming years for aviation. And that's the way this entire industry will get redefined. Friends, just to tell you, the drones are being classified in multiple ways, but commonly there are 4 categories we compare or we classify, we use for classification of drones. One classification which are commonly comes in the printed media is a fixed wing or rotary wing. Fixed wings, they similarly looks like an aeroplanes or small planes. When we talk about rotary wings, they are generally multiple wings, which we are commonly seeing in Indian market, having a quadcopter, hexacopter, having a capability of flying with multiple rotors. Another significant classification is based on the power source. what kind of a power source they are using for autonomous flying. If we talk about the larger sizes of drone, which are generally classified in a mid segment or a larger category, they are fuel based. At the same time, around us, we are experiencing a lot of battery drones, which are basically entry level drones used for multiple applications. Going forward, the scope will increase on hybrid drones, which will be combination of 2 or 3 technology put together. And at the end, I think we are not also having a far possibility where the drone will fly on a solar energy. So these are the major sectors of powers which are being used for operating drones. One important thing which I would like to emphasize for drone industry, the way they will be put on the operations. Most of the high-end drones needs a runways or they need a launch pad to get into the sky. The more advantage are in this sector is primarily for larger operations. But when we look at the sectors which are emerging for drone application, they are more related to vertical takeoff and landing. That means the drone will be able to fly with a very small space, and then he will be able to take the path as determined. So the takeoff and landing is one criteria of drone development, which is considered by most of the drone manufacturer and R&D companies. From a regulation point, all the 3 things are not mapped as a regulations, and the regulation clearly defines the drone classification based on the maximum weight of the equipment or a bird. And today, if we compare our regulation with the global regulation, the drones has been classified into 5 categories, starting from nano, which goes up from, let's say, basic weightage to 250 grams. Then the next category comes as a micro drone, which are between 250 grams to 2 kg of weight. Small drones, 2 kg to 25 kg. And then we talk about medium and a larger size of drones. And these 4 major parameters define the drones in a particular industry. A lot of time, this is a question I ask or I've been asked by audiences. What is the global drone market? Sorry, I don't have a crystal ball. And because of that, giving a specific answer is very difficult. Big change in the sky is happening every day. And that means the market predictions are going in different ways, but they all are showing upward trends. If we have to compare the drone growth or global market, the best case which we can use for mapping that how the growth will be, it will be the growth of mobile industry. The way the smartphones from pager to the smartphone journey we have seen, I believe the similar kind of a journey we will be seeing in the sector of drones. But still, I would like to give perspective of pre-COVID or let's say before Russia-Ukraine war and what is real estimations are. Pre-COVID, before the ChatGPT became a talk of the town, Russia-Ukraine conflict, the market was estimated by the major research institute on the market research side was around 54 billion, where the Indian growth was estimated by 2025 is approximately 5 billion. Asia was the one market which was showing tremendous growth along with Middle East, Africa, as well as the European market. The growth estimation was based on CAGR of 7.8 to 12.5% range in different markets. When I do research of last 2 years of the growing market, the numbers which are coming are quite encouraging. And the latest report from Big Four are indicating the global market will be having an average CAGR of around 15% plus. And with that, we are talking about a global industry of 1.125 billion. And if you really see, it's pre-COVID and now is almost double the number. And that's really shows that how welcoming this sector is from a technology perspective and investment perspective. What are the real driving factor? And this is a very important thing for us to understand, that why we should be bullish about this, or why we should be keeping our eyes on this sector, and why we should follow very closely this sector to ensure that this market growth, which is going to be tremendous, we can part of the success journey. One is the geopolitical situation. The way the Russia-Ukraine conflict is getting uncontrollable, or we can say it's not getting resolved. Parallel to that, we have also seen a lot of NATO movements along with the power sectors of Western world and Eastern world getting more aggressive on a geopolitical platforms. It means the nations across the globe will be very much focused on their defense strategies and then their geopolitical strengthening activities. And that's what will be the one of the driving factor for this sector's growth. The second important thing which will be there is speed, mobility, and economy. I have spent half of my professional life in automotive sector. And what I believe, the safety, speed, and the economics of ownership was the driving factor there. The similar way we talk about overall any of the businesses, what customers are looking for, pizza less than 10 minutes. 5 minutes, you have nothing at home, you go to Blinkit and you get it. So the speed is becoming a driving force for any of the businesses. Mobility and economy are basically two sides of one coin. If you have a higher mobility, you get a better cost in terms of your economical valuation or economical cost models. The one important thing, which is also a primary reason for the sector to grow, the value of human life is being considered as a prime factor for deploying any of the technologies in uses. If you really see the kind of natural disasters are happening, the kind of the weather challenges we are going through, the impact of the weather, or let's say the pollutions are impacting our lives in multiple ways. And in those areas, the human life is becoming a critical factor for any of the technology implementation. I give you one case study where the Swiss government has done a tie-up with one of the operating company of Switzerland, giving a mandate that within 10 minutes, SOS services has to be provided once they receive a call. Even during the bad weather condition, they have to deploy helicopters or unmanned aerial vehicle to identify human lives trapped into those disasters. It's not the only case in Western world. Even in many countries, when I'm meeting customer and end users, they don't want to restrict their capability to save humans' life. And that's one of the reasons the unmanned aerial vehicle will be very, very useful technology in coming years. Digitalization, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all these things will empower the technologies of autonomous vehicles, whether this is the connected cars, EVs, aeroplanes, trains, any kind of a mobility will be highly supported with emerging technologies in other sector. And that's the way this will also help drone industry to grow. One more thing, which is a real reason for having this technology growth in a double digit, is just because of a one simple reason. The application spectrum by using UAVs and UAS is huge. It's a very interesting topic to discuss, that where you cannot deploy a drone, rather than talking where we can do it. So if we really see all these key points, which are really seen by all the sectors, will really ensure that in coming year, the acceptance of the drone technology and the uses of this will go very fast, and that will make this industry as a high growth industry in the market. I come to India's story. I think as an anomaly university, we dominate IT sector very well. Most of us across the world are IT leaders from our side. If we talk about India, I think we have established India as the IT power of the world, not only in terms of contributing on those technologies, even in terms of leading those technologies worldwide. Now, what good happened during this IT revolution was that we saw an opportunity coming in. We took a risk of getting into this sector, and based on our capabilities, we were able to deliver more than what anybody could do it. The similar way, it is time to capture the sky. Vision of drone Nirbhar Bharat is doable. When I compare my journey in India with the auto sector, especially on a safety restraint side, from only no airbags to 6 airbag journey happened in last 5 years. That means the acceptance of technology in our country has taken a very aggressive approach. And this is not only in the sector of automobile or other sector. Now I believe as a nation, we are gearing ourselves to ensure that any new technology which is emerging, we should be part from the day one. And that's where I see that our India story is well on time. Here is one key and important slide. I think Make in India for me is old story now. Atmanirbhar Bharat is what we are talking. And in my view, I think we are talking more in a way as a youth of India, that how we can be research oriented Bharat, how we can be a country investing into new technologies. And that's the way we are demonstrating our commitment in the drone sector. As per the FICCI and EY reports published last year, quarter 3 and 4, we were around 2,900 crores market in India, and the majorly was defense. But if you really see, the next 5 years, between 2020 to 2040, this sector will grow with the CAGR of 80%. And that's I still believe is a conservative growth rate. Even with the correction and with the coming factors in next 5 years, between 2025 to 2030, the India market will be of a tune of almost a 35 billion market. What is also being considered in this entire journey, the policies, the infrastructure, the investment which is coming up is also demonstrating that India will be third largest market, and will have a more than 25 market share in the global economy. This is something very interesting in a perspective of real scenario which is we are going through. in the World Economic Forum, we anticipated that the US will have almost like a 125 billion market by 2025. And in that particular thing, if we talk about India, the contribution would be around 11 billion. And if you really see, from 10% to 25% is a doable job, where we started less than 1%, and we are talking about having almost 10% within 5 years. This journey is supported with a lot of initiatives which are happening around us. Today, in last 2 years, more than 150 companies and startup has entered into the sector. Second important point, the Indian government has formed a policy which is exactly in outline of the developed world. No exceptions. A very high level of commitment that if we want to enter into the segment, we will go with the same standard which global leaders are following, or the countries who have been dominating technologies have been following. With an introduction of a policy in this sector, the government has come up with a very, very supportive policy, which is called PLI scheme and production linked incentives. And if you see any of the sector, whether it's a chemical, agriculture, automotive, there's no such sector you will find where the technology got introduced, the market started accepting it, and the government come with a policy of supporting with the production link incentive plans. Not only the incentivization has attracted different people in the sector, the more important thing is also to ensure that we developed our own capability and we do not come under developed world pressure. The government has come up with a very, very strong measure, a ban of imports of drones in India. And that allows Indian economy to be more self-reliant in this particular sector, which is fast growing. Today, if I review the policies of the government, what is going around us in terms of market, there's one more important thing. The investors are backing up this sector very well. Even then, sentiments on VC funding, sentiments on the investment in India was not very positive in last 1 year. Most of the companies was going away from fintechs and other sectors. But at the same time, deep tech sector like drones was very well supported by investors and banking sector. If you really see the last two MSME IPOs which has come up by drone companies, was huge success in Indian economy. And that also reflects that people are showing their willingness to invest in upcoming sector like drones. This is a journey of our nation in this drone industry or UAV sector. If you really see, before the Kargil war, we had absolute very few drones with Indian Army only. I still remember when I used to travel early, let's say early 2000, the most important, the expected toy asked by my friends and family was flying drones, the smaller one, helicopters, quadcopters, camera one, DJI and all that. And apart from that, we had no clue about this particular sector and no commitment to get into it. Kargil war gave us the first opportunity to take this sector seriously. And we did the first defense deal in 1999, 2000, when we got IAA Heron drones in India. If we see from 2000 till 2014, there was almost a silent approach in this sector. 2014, the government came up and they started imposing ban on import of drones because of data sensitivity and many other regions. And in 2019, 20, when the COVID hit us, that time we really gave up a different thought to this sector. And from 20 to 22, if you really see 3 years, which I will be capturing in my next slide, a lot of things has been considered to support this sector. Government launched the scheme where you can start the supplies of drones and you get incentives. Drone came up with the first regulation that what rules and regulation any drone company has to follow or a user has to follow. The government has come up with a very lucrative policy for agri drones where they gives motivation to farmers to buy agriculture drone and deploy. The similar way, the DGFCP and the DGCI has come up a supportability approach to the startups, to the technology provider, to the user. So at least the acceptance of this technology is increasing. And based on 2 years of experience with the policy has been reviewed every year. And with the feedback from the industry, feedback from the user, feedback from the other stakeholder, the policy is under continuous development process. So it is not that the policy has been formed and then nobody's looking into it. And that also shows the entire ecosystem supporting this industry. And the similar thing I've just captured in terms of 2014 to 18, what really happened and what happened between 2018 to 2022. In a very short, in last 4 years, 3 important factors are governing this sector. Policy support. I believe the current ecosystem of governance in India, whether it's from politicians, from bureaucrats, from administration, is quite supportive in terms of supporting this sector. And some of the clear-cut examples, which I'm repeating it myself, but are in front of us is PLI, drone policy, government buying from a local supplier, government giving opportunity for joint development, grants to do the research in the sector of drone and drone-related technologies. And this is what is really an important factor where we can think of encashing 25 billion market by 2025 and enjoying our share into it. Investment and market, if you really ask me, there are clear-cut examples. When I look into those examples, defines the investors are very open and they are very supportive and aggressive to support the growth story of drones. From the market perspective, when we started this project, we used to see very few opportunities in the market. And those few opportunities was in a way where as an Indian company, we had hardly possibility of capturing those opportunities and making use of it. But today, the growing demand from our own demography, our own nation, our own customer, and support from investor is really putting this industry on fast track. When we talk about customers, and the customer is king, as we all know, across the application sector, today customer want to use it. I give you an example, sectors like mining, where we were hardly using technologies except how much more we can take out of the mines. But today the drones are used to map the volume of mining, where exactly the mining should be done, which are the areas where we can go for more mining. So what all the minerals are there, a lot of sensing, LiDAR sensing and other applications are happening to determine the applications. Agriculture. Today, when we go at least 10 kilometers away from any of the big cities, we can see the farmer using drones. And today, there are challenges, which I'll talk later, but at least, the farmer, which is considered to be always a slow mover in terms of technology implementation, if they are welcoming this technology itself, it shows that this technology is well accepted in different use cases. And I think different use cases, acceptance by a different application and customer is another factor which supports India's story very strongly in this particular market segment. Now, what's for us? And that's I think this is the key essence of my presentation today. And I can only simply put in 3 words: think beyond imagination at this particular opportunity for us. Once we talk about the unmanned aerial vehicle and unmanned aerial system, or maybe drones, I can tell you the kind of an opportunity which are coming into manufacturing, services, O&M, skilling, they are huge. And here I go, the value creation map. If I divide in domains like hardware, operation, services, today, whatever drone companies we have in India, except few, everybody is using imported parts. And if you really go deeper in this discussion, you will find in the supply chain almost more than 50% parts are coming from outside India. What we are doing it, we are just using those hardware components for assembling and giving this particular technology to end user. So there is a huge scope of getting into the hardware industry or component manufacturing, or developing technologies like batteries, sensors, payloads, motors in India. And this is today we are really are dependent out of India. There was a huge debate when the drone component import was banned, and the industry approached to the government and said, if you ban the import of the components, sorry, we will not be able to encash the opportunities by ourselves. And that's how with the amendment note, the component import was allowed. The similar way, if we talk about OEMs, today, also the use cases in terms of sensor systems, lot of dependency is out of India. So this is in a hardware sector, we probably can look into the possibility of creating value for ourselves. Operations, I give a very specific use case of a power grid. Globally, if we talk about the power grids, they are being inspected through helicopters and drones. In India, we do the inspection manually. Sometimes we use helicopters. Indian power grid, if you really talk, there were two major challenges mapped in their top priorities. One is the cyber threats on their servers and their system. And the second threat, they have a physical monitoring of their infrastructure. Today, the uses, what they have is less than 2 kilometers per day inspection. And if with that rate, if they go with the deployment of inspection, you can imagine how much resources they needed. So technically, we see many of the opportunities which are in operations segment, providing services. There is a huge requirement in sectors like photography, mapping, 3D mapping, doing critical deliveries, doing the logistic. And I'm not talking about pizza deliveries. Please excuse me for that kind of an thing right now. I'm talking about the critical deliveries which are sensitive in terms of operation efficiency. And these are the area where we are looking for people who can come forward and provide services. Now, when we are talking about opportunity of doing it, there's definitely threats also. We are seeing a lot of things on the border states where unwanted birds are flying from our dear neighbors to our country with unwanted elements and unwanted things. And that's where another opportunity of counter drones or increasing the security measures, increasing the infrastructure requirement for managing these drone fleets, managing this is a huge opportunity. Navigations, as I mentioned in my first few slides, that at the end, the customer really need a solution. They don't really want to know who's manufacturing a drone, who's giving a service to me, what the way the data is coming, and what is the real thing is coming to me. In coming years, they are really, really interested at the end, what I'm looking for, whether I'm getting from one person or one company or one service by yes or no. So I think from that perspective, if you really see a lot of opportunities in optimization, improving the supply chains, getting into the opportunities, which basically increases the efficiencies of these services will be a key sector. As we have spoken of application like mapping, inspection, surveillance, definitely a lot of data are getting generated. A lot of informations are getting generated. A lot of coordination needs to be done. And I think all these things will give us an opportunity in the sector, which are very strong in India, like IT, data management, support services integrations, and all these kind of an ecosystem makes this industry very lucrative and very interesting. So in short, we can look for an opportunity into manufacturing. We can look for opportunity in service sector. We can, when we have these people who will be requiring for flying drones, skill development is a huge sector where we can think of opportunity. Operation and maintenance. Most of the drone manufacturers, which are well known in India, they are looking for service partners because the drones are deployed across India and they do not have enough infrastructure available with them that they can support operation and maintenance in remote areas. So what they are doing is they are tying up with the smaller setups or smaller players and saying, okay, you are operating in, let's say, Punjab. I have a manufacturing in Bangalore. Can you do maintenance for me? And this kind of a sector will keep growing with the number of product get into the market. One thing which I've kept very low profile during entire discussion is exports. Definitely we have banned the imports. It also means that we are also stopping ourselves going out. But slowly the way our product will get matured in Indian infrastructure, once we will be able to demonstrate our capabilities of proving our technologies in this sector, the export, which will be a huge market because of cost optimization, because of having a large workforce in India, a cost-effective workforce in India, will give us an opportunity to exports of products and services. If you ask me in one line, I think we will have a lot of opportunity for mid-segment drone exports out of India. Means anything beyond 25 kg, below 25 kg, or below 250 kg, and will have a huge opportunity of exports of equipment out of India. So in short, if we are talking about 30 billion market in next 7 years, many components gives us big opportunity with multiple ways to grab them. Some of the applications which you all are aware, or maybe you can think about in a very easy manner, is search and rescue operations. This is one sector where the drones application are quite in demand. Mapping surveillance, no doubt. I was having a discussion with someone on Friday. 360 crores of mapping order they have from a government of Karnataka. The government of Rajasthan is looking for 3D mapping of 5 cities. The value of the tender will be in at least more than 500 crores. So these are the kind of a mapping and surveillance opportunities are coming. Definitely in the cities which are highly populated, or there are traffic movements are quite challenged, where people want to have started looking into drone deployment for traffic control management. Medical disaster, we have learned a lot about these applications during last 3 years, whether it was COVID, whether it was um, the cloud burst in Himachal, Uttarakhand, other line. There are three or two sectors which are quite niche, but a lot of work is going on into refinery pipeline monitoring, oil and gas pipeline monitoring, power grids monitoring, and I think that's where we are right now looking into the applications which are quite high on demand. Environment and agri, this is another fast growing segment. Maybe from a cost perspective, it is a low on a value chain side, but is again a volumetric sector which is growing quite fast. This is the one key slide which I would like to deliberate more with you in a way that, okay, we understand that the drone sector or UAV sector or UAS sector is a fast growing sector, a lot of opportunities. India story seems like a story which we can follow and which we should find an opportunity there. But what is around us? And what that it really means is what all the gaps we have between what is existing and what we have. And this gap will allow us to think what really we can look into it. Today, friends, if we are talking about 2 billion market in 22-23, we are talking about Lego toys and assemblies of these equipments. If you really open any of the drone make in India, you will find we are just doing an assembly of components bought from different sources and labeled by our names. That means a lot of work we can do in terms of research, development. We can do a lot of work in terms of local manufacturing and strengthening the supply chain. The another thing, whatever applications we are using, they are low-end applications and a limited payload. Today we are talking about a camera which is like half a kg in the weight at the max, getting used on a drone. Why can't we have a fourth kind of a camera, including thermal sensing cameras, including high spectrum cameras, sensors based mapping, LiDAR getting into one thing. And then we say, okay, this is the way the payload and application go faster to the end user. Endurance. If we go north to south, east to west, large country, interesting demographics. We have the highest, you can say, ceiling heights available to test our birds. At the same time, we have a larger coastal lines. And if you really see the demography of our country, we don't need drones which can fly for 1 hour, 2 hours. We need drones which can fly for multiple hours, like 24 hours, 10 hours. And this example I will use in for agriculture. See, in agriculture, we have a smaller farms. We get very minimal time to do certain things. Our application uses is restricted for a couple of hours in the morning and evening. And if you combine all these, the cost of ownership is very high. And to reduce the cost of ownership, we need high endurance drones. Means the drone has to fly for a longer period and they have to perform for multiple tasks. So this is the way we can add a lot of value in this sector. I gave an example of sitting in the aeroplane and you hear from a pilot that we are getting into autopilot mode, so relax and enjoy. Means the plane is getting into a drone mode. But if you really see the drones which are available today with us, they are not having aerodynamic capabilities of that level. They are limited in terms of even aerodynamic performance. And that's where I think the real opportunity exists, that how we can look into the aerodynamic requirements, which will be needed by end customer. And we start working toward that rather than we just see low-hanging fruits and work on them only. all these things, what I've spoken in the initial 4 points, if you will map them on pure economics, because as a businessman, some of you don't care about anything. You really want to see what is my top line, what is my bottom line, correct? And that's where if you map all that, the current solutions are basically having high cost of ownership. So the opportunity is something toy versus technology. I will motivate that we should look for a technology growth, not the growth considering there's a drones as a toys. And I think that's where the value will come to India. And that's where we will have an opportunity to participate into the rest of the 75% market available globally. Okay, so what's Skygear and Dronocopter? I think I shared with the Gopi-san, that's Gopi Anna, that's, when I was heading India business for an American company and a Japanese company, traveling all over the world, seeing what is happening, what my friends are doing, what my seniors are doing, what my business networks are doing. And I realized that's the aviation sector is a one interesting sector, which is going to be a very big for any new one to get inside and have a fair, you can say, competition to compete outside. And with that, me and my entire team from Skygear, we looked into getting into the aviation unmanned aerial vehicles. And we came up with one clear mindset that best cost, reliable technology, real Atmanirbhar Bharat we want to build. And we started this project with this concept. Today, we have done more than 3.5 years of journey together with a team member from India and Europe. We have an R&D center in Europe, which is purely working on a technology part. Indian team is working more on the use cases and how we really can introduce and launch this technology in India. We have built an unmanned aerial helicopter, and the video which you saw was a real video from one of the flying which we did in Alps for a Swiss government. So we have come up with a product called Dronocopter. As soon as we say we manufacture drone, people consider us, okay, we must be having a flying bird with multiple wings or maybe a smaller bird. So we came up with the brand called Dronocopter. And this Dronocopter is an unmanned aerial helicopter. The unmanned aerial helicopter can fly beyond the visual line of sight operations. So technically, this bird can go up to more than you can say 20 kilometers, which is defined in India right now. So I can fly this bird for 1,000 kilometers from the ground station. Skygear was built with a clear vision of transforming sky and human lives with well-defined core values, commitment on our vision and mission statement. That's what we want to do as an organization. In short, best-in-class global technology out of India. This is a specification of the product line. What we have multiple product, but I'll talk about DC-15, which is the most important bird we are offering to the customer. The total weight of the equipment is 33 kg. The empty weight is 18 kg, less than 18 kg. We can do a payload of 15 kg. And this is something is very interesting. You people have to think about the opportunity, that what is the payload ratio you want to have for your own investments, where you can have the situation where your equipment can have a 1:1 payload for flying. We have tested our equipment for 170 kilometers of speed. We commit 130 kilometers per hour speed to our customer. We can go up to 4,500 meters from mean sea level. And in a very short, 1/3 of any flying aeroplane. So we are exactly can meet the requirement of terrain like Leh Ladakh, Tawang, Arunachal, and for sure anything on the coastal border and Tamil Nadu. is doable thing for us. When I talk about aerodynamics, we compete with the helicopter aerodynamics. We can handle 15 meter of headwinds, almost like a 10 meter and 5 meter of crosswind and gust. We can operate in the temperature range minus 30 degrees to plus 30 degrees, 50 degrees. And as I was mentioning to all of you, that we should think beyond assemblies. And that's what, as a Skygate team, what we have done, that we have mapped our entire technology, and we said we want to go from scratch till the final bird based on our internal capabilities. We have developed a very best-in-class engine, which is a boxer design 2-cylinder 110 cc engine. The weight of engine is less than 4.5 kg. On a performance side, it produces 5 kilowatt plus at 6,000 RPM. It's a 4-stroke supercharge. So on a bench test, if we do the testing of this engine, we consume around 300 grams of fuel. And in the flying condition with the maximum payload, we consume 1.8 liter per hour. Just to give you perspective that how big you can plan for your operations and opportunity. In this equipment, we have done engineering for everything, starting from here, structure design, transmission system, main rotor, swash plate, and the tail rotor, basically, which really controls the flying of the equipment, and the electrical and electronics like ECU, power distribution board, onboard generator. Everything has been designed and developed by our engineers. This equipment can fly manually. You can fly like any of the drones. It can fly through remote control station, and it has also as an autopilot system, which is army grade. So it can also fly autonomously. Means the sensors help the equipment to decide the flying parameters. This is just an idea that what we can do as an Indians, that we are able to build everything from the scratch, and we have full engineering capability to deliver the product to customer. Our advantage, we have in-house technology, most fuel efficient drone in the world. Scalability on payload, we are working right now of going up to 100 kg payload, but then ultimately we want to go up to 250 kg payload. And that's the spectrum we are preparing ourselves. The important thing, like when you have a drone, you have to think in a way that you can think similar like automobile or car industry, where you make a base platform and you can use for multiple body types, or you can use for like in a sedan, you can use an MUV, SUV, and something like that. And the similar way, what we are also working, that our drone is able to support multiple payloads. You can use for mapping, at the same time you can use for logistics. And that's the beauty of this entire technology. We have an onboard generator, and that means this is a hybrid equipment. So from engine, we take the power to run generator, and that generator can support different kind of an application. Last but not the least, I think when we started working on this, we wanted to ensure that we have enough data available to analyze the performance of equipment. And not only on the performance, we should be also able to predict how well we can map this equipment in terms of usability, in terms of repair and maintenance, in terms of ownership, supportability. And that's what we created by using a black box inside the equipment. This entire technology is fully in-house and owned by an Indian company. We launched this project in India in October 2022. Prior to that, it was a R&D out of a garage. So in last 9 months, the Skygate team is able to have a tie-up with the first skilled university of Haryana government, where we are supporting them to build a skill development program for drone and drone applications. We have signed another relationship with Hindustan Aeronautical Limited, where we are planning to take the journey from 5 kg payload to 250 kg payload. Definitely, we are in startup, a medium size, a small size company. So we have got all the required certification which help us to, participate in different opportunities. This is just a picture from the Aero Show in the Bangalore, where we signed a contract with the HAL in presence of Honorable Defense Minister and secretaries, where we showed our commitment in Drone Nirbhar Bharat. And what we are looking as an opportunity is creating a large mapping and surveillance drones, agri application on a larger volume, defense and emergency services, which can be armorizing or weaponizing the drone, using it for logistic application at a difficult terrain or a difficult situations, and emergency medical support in remote areas. I think by the now you all might have an idea about myself. And I think I'm very proud to be part of Annamalai University. The another founder member is Luca, whom I like to introduce to you. He's an Italian national. He takes care of entire R&D along with me. We both are engineers having a responsibility of managing businesses. And before we came up with our own entrepreneur journey, we have handled merger acquisition. We were responsible for global businesses at a regional or country level, managing the business. And that's just a quick introduction for Luca and myself. What we are doing right now, we are in a process of. So we have launched India project in October. We have a marketing and sales office and organization which are supporting the engineering aspect right now. We are in process of setting up a manufacturing plant in India, where we will go in the first way, we will import parts from our parent company, or let's say from our R&D unit, and then we will start localizing and scaling up the things in India. And at the end, our objective is to compete with the global player in this sector. This is just a contact information for SkyGear. Happy to meet you whenever I get an opportunity to come to Chennai, and you are always welcome to Delhi, and we can talk more about this. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the entire team from AABN for giving me an opportunity to come and talk about this sector, to talk about the big opportunities which are in front of us, and how we can really make use of this opportunity for fulfilling our future plans. Thank you very much.
Mahendra, can you go to the previous slide, your contact detail?
Sure, sir, I can go back.
No, the one.
I'll go.
No.
Are you able to see my screen, sir?
Yeah. But yeah,
Here
one second. I'm just taking your email and your. You don't have a mobile?
I do have, but I will share to AABN team, and they have it. So you can get it's 7834849000.
783484. Yeah.
9000.
9000. Okay. Gopi, can I go ahead and interact?
Yeah. Go on.
Okay. Go. Mahendra, I'm 82 batch chemical engineering.
Good afternoon, sir, to you.
Good afternoon. I actually had a procedure in the morning in the hospital, so I'm still in hospital gear. Okay. So I have been in composites since 1997. And we have made, Professor Satya of E-Plane, I have made the propeller parts for him. And so we are also, I will share with you separately the components I have made. I don't want to get into drones. I actually want to get into composites parts for drones. Yeah. Will that be of some interest to you?
For sure. So I think in a most of the drone, the composite content remains between, let's say, 20% to 40% in the range. Yeah. Depending on what kind of a technology drones we are talking to them. Yeah. But it's a one of the important, you can say, sector which is required for building up the drones. And we would be more than happy to support you, not only with us, even with other manufacturers where you can think about collaborating and providing this. But this is important, you can say, material for manufacturing drones. Yeah. And there are specific applications which you can plan or you can offer. For example, body parts.
Yeah. We went to Daksha. We went to MIT for the Daksha drone, which they sold 30% of the stakes for 200 crores to Murugappa Group. So I was surprised to find that they were not using fire retardant resin. So, I mean, we were innocent and asking whether you are using fire retardant resin. They were not in their thing, which we are surprised because drones can really set fire wherever they fly. And this is number one I observed. I also want to share something in your, the potential for growth in your thing. There are two things that I think you should add. Why growth of drones? One is drones grow in 3 dimensions, unlike other vehicles which actually grow in 2-dimensional. So there's another extra dimension it grows. So it will be much, much bigger than any of us we know. The second is people who develop drones have deep pockets. Please do not belittle people like pizzas and Amazons, because they have the deep pocket and sheer volumes they have. So the growth story of drones, they have of course the defense sector also. So I think deep pockets of the people who are interested in drones, you should add as one of the driving factors for drone growth. I mean, drone growth. Okay. Sure. I am in Delhi between 26th and 29th. I'm staying somewhere in Faridabad. Will it be possible to meet you?
Sure, sir. Looking forward, and we are always open to meet friends and family people from all over India. So let us know. You have our coordinates, and we will fix up opportunity with you for sure.
My interest is only in composite parts. I'm not interested in drone manufacturing as such. I want to dwell into composite. We have made lot of carbon composite parts, and I would like to be part of your growth story. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving us an opportunity to interact on a specific area which is of very high of our interest. And let's work together and see how we can help each other to take our journey forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
Participants, you may please unmute and ask your question, please.
Hi. Good morning, Mr. Mahendra. This is Arvind from 99 batch, E&I. I am taking care of a company which is related to services of capital equipments related to manufacturing of electronic products. You did mention that you have been importing certain the electronic parts and some of the other mechanical parts, and you do the assembly part. So it would be great. I would try to meet you at possible time so that we can see where, as a company, as an ABN person, I would be able to share our company informations where we can provide you the services related to the manufacturing segment of electronic assembly.
Yeah, so the companies who are into deep technology of drones and manufacturing, there are specific applications where they need electronics or electrical suppliers. One is the PCBs and, PCB.
Yes.
So this is one important area where collaboration can take place. The another important area is that, as you know, like the more and more the sector will grow towards high endurance and all, the opportunity for hybrid drones will increase. And that means electrical, electronics, and mechanical part combined together, how they can perform. So that's where also the possibility of cooperation and collaboration can take place.
That's
happy to know what you do. And
yeah, we have been already associated with a couple of electronic manufacturing companies in India, and we have been servicing them past 30 years. So with respect to the electronic assembly, we would be able to provide you a solution. Coming back to the question, another question on, since you said we are trying to use drone for the commercial aspects, does any government come up with a curriculum in the education system to have drone teaching as a standard? Because that's good.
Yes, right now the discussion has started. I was yesterday in a similar kind of a meeting where government want to introduce the same way the computer education was introduced in 80s and 90s in school. They are trying to figure out which are the new technologies are coming up and which can be introduced in the academic curriculum at a school level or an engineering and other sector. So we are hearing such kind of an opportunity or such kind of interest. In case we are already supporting one of the largest skill development university of North and the first one of India, which has been built by government of Haryana. We are happy to help you in such kind of a discussion.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
But one more key point for all of us, I think the skill development is a big opportunity for a drone sector. And I think you can consider this as one of the area of investment or diversification for yourself or a collaboration with established players. I have some of the questions, so I will go and try to answer them.
Yeah, please, Mahendra. There are a few questions in the chat box.
Yeah, so one person is saying that yes, there is a possibility of a drone operation for logistics. There are a couple of specific requirement you have to have. You have to get an UIN number, means you have to get a drone with a authentic number plate, and then you can operate in the city to do the drone deliveries. Some of the companies has already started doing it. You have to really understand the viability in terms of economical viability sector. But yes, you can use the drone from 1 kg to 25 kg for local deliveries. What is the fuel we use for DC-15? As I mentioned to you, we were very much focused on core engineering of our company in terms of having a more sustainability rather than doing assembly job. Our engine is multi-fuel engine. The EFI and ECU has been built by our own engineers. So currently we are able to run the engine with kerosene, ethanol, methanol. We are continuously using ATF, which is aviation fuel, and petrol is another commonly used fuel. So our engine is built for multiple fuel, and I think yes, we can fly this DC-15 on kerosene. There's a question: how does government norms towards using drone in our?
Mahendra.
Yes, sir.
When you say kerosene.
Yes, sir.
Kerosene, I mean, is it advisable to use kerosene? Is it eco-friendly, or I mean, is there no restrictions on that from the government?
So that depends on the fuel efficiency and the carbon footprints. If you see most of the drones which are fuel based, they are high on carbon footprints compared to our engine, and we are doing almost like 1/10 of the carbon footprint than the commonly used engine right now in the sector. Definitely with the kerosene, then it increases, but it's permittable. There's no restriction to use kerosene as a fuel for drone engines.
Thanks, Mahendra.
Even some of the glider engines are also are based on kerosene fuels. And there's a question: what is the cost of a drone for carrying 50 kg payload? So I think today the drones which we are having in Indian market, no company is capable of delivering 50 kg payload. Even the highest payload which has been offered by some of the companies with a very minimal endurance, I will not like to name them, but they are offering like 10 kg payload with 1 hour of flying. They are at the cost range of 1 crore to 1.5 crores. And when we talk about 50 crore and the similar kind of a bird, which you talk about 10 to 15 kg payload in a global market, the Chinese are the most competitive right now. They offer at a 5 crore, a 4 to 5 crore price range. And the Europeans goes between 6 to 8 crore of price range. A Skygear is able to compete with Chinese, including the Indian drone manufacturer. Our 15 kg payload drone with 10 hours of flying is at the cost of 1.5 crore. And I think that's where the real opportunities will be there for everyone. Coming to the 50 kg payload, Lalit, I believe if we talk about the European, they are in range of 15 crores plus minus. Chinese also are in the range of 8 to 12 crores. And in India right now, no one has this capability. We have an engine which are getting ready for 50 kg and 25 kg payload, and we are not at the moment in a position to declare the prices. So, but I think we will be very cost competitive compared to anyone across the globe. And the reason for that is we have in-house capability of doing everything, and the core system is designed and developed by us. Yes, sir.
I have a question. See, when you say you're going to, as you say, you're going to be cheaper than China, kind of, because you are talking about China 4-5 crores.
We are already cheap. We are already cheaper than China currently.
And being a European, an European kind of organization, because your partners in Europe, are you tapping some European market because you are so cost competitive, and are you selling something in Europe already?
Yeah. So first of all, our footprints in Europe is more related to R&D. We are not doing mass manufacturing there, and that was the first stage we successfully completed. That we should have a right R&D footprints in Europe, which can deliver the milestones on the product side. The second thing, yes, we are very competitive in European market. We have done a couple of commercial sales for trying out our capability in terms of meeting customer expectation more on technology side and technical spec. But at the same time, commercially also, we were very, very competitive. We have sold the equipment in Italy and Switzerland, and we found no competition with anyone there. And our idea to bring this technology out of NATO was so simple that from India, we wanted to launch this technology for global market without restricting ourselves. So I can only tell you right now, whatever the information and competition mapping we have done, we are most competitive product in the world. I hope I am able to answer your question, sir.
Thanks, Mahi.
Okay. One question is related to PLI. The PLI scheme right now is closed. The PLI scheme was related to drone component manufacturer and drone manufacturers. where the government says if your sale is of a drone as a drone component is with a range of, I don't have exact number, with range of I think 1 crore to 3 crores, you can apply for it. And I think for drone manufacturer, it was 2 to 5 crores if you have a cell. Then there was an incentive given of 25% back on your net sale. So there was this scheme was launched in 21-22. 8 companies got selected, and I believe the government is deliberating right now to relaunch this scheme. So now the new players which are come into the sector can take also the benefit of PLI. The PLI scheme is been approved by Ministry of Finance right now with consideration of Aviation Ministry. 8 companies who all are there. I can give you the names on a one-on-one basis. 2 names I can definitely name because they are in public domain now information. One is the Idea Forge and another is Russia.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. I'm Ramanathan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ramanathan.
I'm from 1987 structural batch. I was just wondering, like, this recent, when we talk about F-16 fighter jets, all these, they have a system of mid-air fueling.
Yeah.
So they sent a separate craft to fuel it in an automated way. And similar way, did you tried anything for the drone? Because mainly the fuel capacity depends on the range. And you can increase the range if you have such additional capability.
I think this is a very you can say a very valid question in terms of for future possibilities. But right now, if you really see the regulations in India, you are not allowed to fly beyond the site of a visual site. So basically, you can go maximum 10 kilometers from the launch location. And in these cases, the refueling condition does not drive because most of the companies who are in this sector, they can fly more than that with the current fuel capabilities what they have. I believe in the coming years, when we are talking about high payload drones, which will be 250 kg and plus, there this kind of a requirement will be there, where you are deploying drones for a continuous surveillance or maybe for a remote operations or maybe larger distance of critical equipment supplies. There this kind of a thing will come. Right now, I don't think so in next 3 to 5 years period. This is something is required. What is more is required is that how we can get more mid-segment drones in the sector, which is right now is missing. Today, if you see the entire drone market in India, we are either in a nano category or in a micro category. We have not even crossed to smaller. So I think until unless we don't go to the mid-segment drone, this requirement will not come for the customers.
So maybe instead of having a mid-air fueling, another opportunity would be to explore the mid-air charging, because with chargeable batteries, you can easily, because mid-air spilling, fuel spilling, all these things causes problems. So that is also another way.
Yeah. So I think rather than the mid-air fueling, the hybrid will be the more appropriate combination, where people will see how they can create a hybrid equipment where, let's say, takeoff, landing, where they need more power can be done by one kind of a fuel, and then rest of the flying can be on another power source. So I think there is a lot of work has to go into that direction for mid-segment or small and mid-segment. But I think that there are people who are working on hybrid drones. Sorry, sir, I'm not able to hear the person who's speaking.
I just have one more query.
Please, sir.
Have you explored on the like ROVs in subsea conditions? We send ROVs, no? So like that, have you diversified into such a segment? ROV, now they have different, ROV was earlier, now they call automated vehicle underwater. That will be parked in one place, and when required, it will go and inspect and return back to the base within the subsea conditions. So it's required in deep sea where we do similar works. We are doing some works in Bay of Bengal for Reliance Godavari field. They are exploring such automated vehicles, ROVs, all those things. You didn't explore such subsea environment, right? So far.
Not yet. Not yet. Only thing is what we are trying to explore the possibility, as I mentioned to you, our aerodynamic capabilities are equivalent to helicopters.
Right.
So there is a huge requirement where you can use such drones like us for applications from a oil and gas field, or let's say platform to the ship or ship to ship. These kind of things are more in demand. People are looking for such solution, but we have not gone into deep sea, specialized vehicle right now.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Yes, participants, you may please unmute and ask your questions, please.
Sir, there are some questions in the chat, sir. In the chat.
Mostly the questions I checked, but anything which I'm missing, can you?
Okay, sir.
One question which I would like to ask, probably, for example, we define a terrain where we provide the information to the drone to move from point A to point B. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any, based on the camera information, we have some AI which can actually change the terrain path automatically, so that if there is any obstacle or any other thing, it takes care of itself and then goes to the destination? Is something
So so there are different ways by which we address these kind of challenges. One, you are following a mission. Let's say you have a mission which you expect to move in a certain way, and if the mission get changed during the tracking, then the camera can instruct the bird or the ECU to take the necessary action. This is the first thing. Coming back to the technology where even a bird has multiple sensors, based on the input, they can do the autopilot correction to avoid any obstacles or avoiding any hindrance which was probably not mapped during the mission planning. And the third thing, now we are also working with some global technology partners where a drone can itself decide the entire flying path. Like the way when you sit in the car, you give your destination, your current location, it gives you an option of flying or driving your car into different ways or different paths. Depending, you want to go on a highway, you want to go in a city, or you want to avoid toll, not toll. The similar way we are working with some of the global technology partners, where with the available GPS data and information, the drone itself will decide that how he will like to go from base to the defined destination. And that is also a possibility. So as I mentioned in the third part, on a application side of it, there are huge scope of integrating AI, machine learning, your sensor-based information, getting back to the problem-solving sensor. I think that's where we have a lot of opportunity also, where we can think of getting involved and diversifying your plans of business.
Yeah, understood. Thank you.
On government, yeah.
Yeah, Sanjay, go on, Sanjay.
Yes, sir. So there was one question about engine trouble midair and coping with. So that's why in the chat box.
Yeah, I was just about to answer that. Any aviation equipment can have engine failures. You are absolutely right. There's no way you cannot avoid this. In the design we call it design failure mode, or in a manufacturing failure mode. What we have done in our engine has a multiple spark plugs. So we have, instead of in a one cylinder, we have 2-cylinder engine. So even in one cylinder fails, we have still get power from another one. That's a different situation. So we can overcome. In each cylinder, we have 2 spark plugs. So even if one spark plug fails, so we have a redundancy backup designs which can support flying. The second thing, to avoid crash, we have a anti-stall. So the drone can, in terms of power failure, can have anti-stall and can land. We have a fuel sensor. If the fuel is not enough, then considering that mission and the fuel condition, it can return to the home ground, or it can land at a safest location. We also have a possibility of deploying a parachute. So if everything fails, then you can deploy the parachute, can have a soft landing and recover the bird. So yes, saying we guarantee that there will be no engine failure is not possible, but we have a mechanisms by which the engine failures can be taken care. And that's the beauty of our entire engineering work, that what kind of engineering failures we can have it, and how are we going to address them.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
First of all, it was a very interesting and very comprehensive presentation, sir, regarding your drone Nirbhar Bharat. So,
thank you, sir.
Sir, my question is just the technical feasibility, not the government regulations part, just the technical feasibility of utilizing a drone in Indian cities to deliver, let's say, from medicines to maximum pizza, or in that range. We have to negotiate the transmission wires and all sorts of, because there could be like ground floor single floor building and also multi-store building. So what is the technical feasibility where we are facing any issues in that area? If you can throw some light.
See, first thing I think it's a very, very interesting domain for application, where we are talking about logistic, and in a logistic, you are going for like a very specific requirement where the payloads are very restricted or very specific. I think from a feasibility point, it is doable, because we can have a VTOLs which can probably take off and land in a very, very constrained environment, and can be airborne. Coming back to the other challenges, like you have a different kind of a wirings going on, or maybe suddenly there was no mapping of a building, but the building has come up there. Some kind of a mapping gaps can be there. So we have a collision avoidance sensors in the drones, and with those kind of a thing is a doable job. So interesting thing is that yes, there will be a one fine day where we will see the pizzas are coming through drones. How soon? That's a more important question.
Yeah.
And whether you like to use drone for pizza delivery, or you have a more interesting application where you have a possibility of making money, we like to deploy drones there. Just to give an example, right now all the defense forces have a biggest logistic problem on the border area for logistic, where they spend, for per army man, they need at least 15 kg of, different kind of things per day, which includes water, food, and minimum is like a 2.5 kg per person. Now, if you imagine in the advanced force, how many people are there, and those logistic things are more challenging than pizza delivery or something. Maybe that another application can be, today, like you do a express air flights for goods. and even in with the express thing, the earliest one is a person is carrying goods from your home and going all the way to Gujarat, all the way to Bangalore, Chennai, hand carrying product, going with the aeroplanes and delivering it. And that time is still high. So what we can look into the possibility of drone corridors. You can build drone corridors in city to city and a network of areas. And that's where the drone logistics can be easily deployed. And I think that, on a logistics side, huge opportunity beyond imagination, but the prioritization is something which you have to think about it, and then based on that, you have to build your business case. But I think from a technology point, it's a doable job.
And also the commercial viability as well.
Yeah. That's what I said. When I'm saying if feasibility is there, but then first thing is that whether it's a something we like to do, the volumes are there or not there, and what is the priority. That all factors you have to build in your business case before you get into this.
So basically commercial viability covers all that because of the pricing. You are delivering at home, so the pricing it should be less than the courier price. I mean, the guys who bring it, the delivery boys. So that's what.
Yeah, but again, like you have to consider the regulation challenges, which are right now may not allow you beyond
that is
2-3 kilometers. So I think it's in a yes or no, it's very difficult for me to say, but technically yes, doable. Commercially is a viable.
Okay, sir. Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. There's a question about the government financial support for defense offset funding. I think there are schemes. IDEX is one scheme, Indian Defense Innovation thing, where they are supporting project from a funding perspective. The range are different. There are startup fundings are also available. I think it purely depends upon what project you table to these agencies like DRDO, Defense and all to get this financial support. But yes, there are financial support available from a government. There are financial support available from specific ministries and departments, and definitely from banking side to get support in the drone industry. Yeah, there is a drone exhibition coming in on 27th of July in Delhi. Drone Expo, every year this comes in. So, and there are a lot of small events keep happening. The frequency has increased a lot in last 2 years. So there is a association called Drone Association of India. You can get registered yourself and get continuous information from them about the events related to drone and drone related technology. There's another question, which is how do you support for the mapping? Currently, the mapping applications are very, very matured in Indian scenario. Basically, you have cameras and sensors which are capable of meeting customers or end user requirement. The only challenge what right now is the quality of mapping, because what happens when you do a mapping, your endurance of equipment are very limited. You have a equipment which are generally have endurance less than 1 hour or 2 hours. So with each flight, you have to have a buffer time because you have to bring the bird to your ground station. You cannot just go 2 hours in one direction and map and then take the bird from there. You have a certain way of doing it. So the efficiency of flying get down to 60 to 70%. So if you have an equipment which can fly for 1 hour, technically it will give you 60% or 70% of flying time. And once you have a multiple flying, the stitching of data and the quality of data becomes very challenging. And the outcomes of the net is a big problem for mapping application. So that's why the users who has done a lot of mapping with the drones. They want to go for high endurance drone for mapping application. The government also has tried by using smaller planes for doing the mapping. And again, they found not very usable from a commercial point. So they want to use the high endurance drone for mapping application. And how we support, we have a high endurance drone. You can fly 7 to 8 hours with camera. And it means we can increase the data size or a field size 20 times more than the normal drones. And I think that's the one sector we are very much interested to expand our operations. I hope I am able to answer all the questions, but if I miss someone, please, you can ask me now.
Anyone has the questions? Okay, I think we are done with this. Okay, thank you so much, Mahendra. Your speech brought light to the darkness that has clouded many of our minds regarding this drone technology. Thank you for being with us on this Sunday and then given your mind to us and thought about it. And thank you others also for joining us. Thank you so much. We don't want to hold you for such long time. Thanks a lot, Mahendra.
Thank you everyone for participating. My coordinates are available with AABN team, and I have also shared. Happy to interact more with you and support, and looking forward for your cooperation and best wishes for us also. Thank you very much. Have a great Sunday. Bye-bye.